Hi, my name is Victoria Nicolette Gist, and I am the costume designer for the Book of Magdalene at Main Street Theater. When I was initially reading the script, I was struck by a lot of different strong themes of loneliness and this dystopian, um, broken world that is reflected, in my mind, through a muted palette, grays, and uh, kind of faded tones, um, as well as this idea of like 2020 forever, which when I spoke with Amelia was exactly how she was looking at it too. In her words, this 2020 plus 20 years, the generation that grows up without knowing what came before. Um, and that world was a world of abandonment and neglect, disconnect, and ash. And so the mask became a symbol that I wanted to explore throughout the play, as well as this idea of duality. There's a lot of duality reflected in the script, from night versus day, cold versus warmth, loneliness giving cold, community offering warmth, as well as this idea of gravity and grace that some of the characters reflect upon in the play. And so, moving forward with that, we meet who is our lead. Len is an artist, and yet Len is being swallowed by her circumstances. She's encumbered by her situation, and is losing herself. She's depressed and she's retreating behind this emotional wall that is strong and solid, and I wanted that to be reflected in her clothing. So as we watch her progress and fall deeper into this, she becomes more and more encumbered, through additions of pieces, including this cowl hood, which also offers a nice analogy to the idea of Mary Magdalene, but ultimately is serving to weigh her down, and consume. However, as she begins to take control of her circumstances and her identity, she is able to shed those layers. And when we last see her, she is bare armed and with a less encumbering pant, less full pant. It's thinner, and the sun is out, it's warmer, and there is finally light. And we see that reflected through Len's arc. Elder has a very similar color palette to Len. She, however, does have her own colors as well. When I was thinking of Elder as this sort of mentoring, eccentric personality, I thought of the analogy of wool, because wool can be quite warm and nurturing, but also it can scratch and it can itch at you, depending on the wool. So Elder, I felt like, was very much in that vein. Elder is definitely a warm or a maternal figure, and yet still very scratchy to Len. And so I wanted to similarly, do this layering of clothing for Elder, but rather than being encumbered by it, it just adds to that sense of warmth. For the priest, it's a pretty traditional look, the black clerical garb, with the collar, and it's a more casual look for meeting in the church with Len. However, it's not a pristine black. It's not the black we necessarily think of. This black has been put through the ringer, it has been tested, and it is off-colored because of what it has seen. However, it is still, at its foundation, what it is meant to be. And I think that's reflective of that character. Now, when I was thinking of suit, this was one of the most vivid images I immediately had. And it was this idea of not being as it seems and putting on a facade or a mask. While masks are seen in other places just as a nature of reflecting the environment. This is the character in which masks become a very strong role. And so this idea of hiding behind a mask, pretending like everything is fine when it's not, is super reflected in. I pictured one of these overly exaggerated smiling masks that really you only see the actor's eyes through for this first interaction. It's a very clean cut, strong suit, and it is this deep burgundy, which really stands out when you've been only seeing very muted palettes. We have to be very particular in the choices we make with what colors we use when using a typically muted palette. And so Suit's red really pulls focus at this point. However, when we next see Suit and we're starting to reveal more about him, we notice it's not this terrifying mask. It's a half mask. It's the face mask you might see on the street, and it's a very simple line art smile. And then as we further chip away at the monster behind the telephone line, we see that it's not a monster at all. It's just a man, and the man has fragility. This open collar, no mask, it offers a sense of humanity to someone that we otherwise didn't know before. And finally, we have our final two characters. Rue, we wanted to definitely explore some really strong progressive silhouettes because we felt that Rue is still working forward while Len is retreating. Rue is trying to move forward with their life. They want community. They have an imagination. They're open to what is coming forward. And so there is a little bit of color in Rue, strong colors that we don't see with any of the previous characters aside from Suit. We have this strong purple that drives the blouse, and then this interesting plaid and argyle sock combination that reflects into this how Rue transforms in Len's mind, which is to say, when Len interacts with the Reveler, it is this version of Rue. We still have that purple top. It's a little softer, but a little more masculine with the Oxford collar and the bow tie. The shorts have really saturated to that red level again, harnessing the passion of red. And we see those fishnets with the flowers full of life, the acrylic fur coat. It is just a parade of colors. We have a different type of mask in this case. We have a net veil that really just kind of blurs the line of who is behind it. And it is a very theatricalized costume. The Reveler is reveling in the moment, and we really wanted to reflect that with the audacity of the costume. And the necklace that is held helps to create this sort of magical moment with the Reveler's interaction with Len on the bus. And that culminates our cast of characters. As you can see, we really get an idea of how they progress and play. I hope you all enjoy the read-through. So long.